welcome back to the channel. This is my Power of Wisdom LUFENIA. This is Queen's event. I did decide to bring in Strago, Sephiroth, and Gladiolus. One thing to mention here is these guys start with their recast gauge filled, and you're gonna have to let them attack, because if you don't, they end up putting up, I think, like shields and then attacking you, and I think even potentially wiping your team, something like that. But anyway, about the team composition here, Strago is just a beast of a damage dealer, AoE damage dealer. I think he was the main damage dealer here of my party. As you can see there, almost like 230k on each enemy. Sephiroth is here to also help with a little bit of damage, but he's going to put in that gold buff that they can't dispel, or debuff that they can't dispel, and also with this burst, just help delay all the targets. All these guys on my team do have AoE attacks, so once Sephiroth's effect is active, it's going to help, delay all of them. And then Gladiolus is here just for as a tank. These guys do bypass HP immunity, so I think Gladiolus's LD is not going to really help you out too much. If you can see here, even with Gladiolus's LD and Warrior of Light's call, I mean, they're still able to take some HP off. And the only reason that I have extra HP is because of that Rude call that I did, which, if you haven't seen, I use Rude a lot with Odin and Diablo Summon, because it activates their effects. Their effects are to trigger the effects, you have to drop your HP below 80%, which Rude technically kind of does that. Since it increases the amount of HP you have, the difference between that and what you start off with is about an 20% difference. So the game considers that your HP has to drop temporarily. And other than that, yeah, this fight is a little difficult if you don't have the proper tank. That's where, if you're new to the game, you could, I would say, pull on Queen, because she's a huge aura bot, giving up to 135% attack to your party, max brave of 90%, overflow, brave and HP damage, brave and HP regen, reduces HP damage taken, and gives, I think, party-wide last stand, which I think for last stand, for those that don't know about it, if your HP I think is above like 50% or something like that, and you take a huge hit that would have killed you, Queen allows you to stay alive. So I think if you're a new player to the game, you should be pulling, I think, on Queen, in my personal opinion. She's like a support attacker with healing and battery and stuff like that. But yeah, these guys, when they hit a 79% mark, as you saw here, they are going to have 100,000 shield value, and then they're also at 49%. They're going to have 200,000 shield value, and you're gonna have to, and you're gonna also see the yellow aura emitting from the boss. They're gonna become immune to launching, as long as their shields are active at that point. So getting rid of those shields, especially with this team, should be pretty easy. And then if you don't break the barrier and the boss is not allowed to take a turn, they're gonna start using their plus variants of all their attacks, where one, I believe, is also an instant KO. And I believe that, I mean, if you have Queen, then you should be fine. But even then, with you can replace Gladio with, I've seen even Bosch, because Bosch is gonna, as long as you have his LD effect up, he's gonna tank all of the hits and then heal himself back up over 50%, take the next hit, keep healing himself, and so you can bring in Bosch for this fight as well. I think Warrior of Light would also be pretty good. You can bring Galuf, for example. HP regeneration characters would be Queen, Paladin Cecil, Aurum, Ashe, I think Raijin. They all have HP regen effects, and that's what you're going to need to kind of keep the orb where it's at. So you can see here the orb doesn't count down because every time a character is about to attack, Gladiolus' effect, or Gladiolus' HP regen ability is on everybody. So as long as they're not attacking, orb is not going down. And right now with the friend Sephiroth burst effect being up, as you can see, you're just continuously, I'm continuously delaying them. And then for other delayers, you know, you do have Garland, you do have Cypher, you have Cloud of Darkness, Sabin. At this point, I think you could just blast through these guys and not worry so much about the orb with like a Terra with Core and Cloud of Darkness combo. At this point, it's just Core, Yang, and Cloud of Darkness having a follow-up move every time, let's say, Terra attacks. Then you're just spamming Terra. And if you use Terra, more power to you. If you don't like using Terra, more power to you. You know, my thing about my channel is like, I'm not gonna bash on anybody because they use what's considered an overpowered character for playing a certain way. I mean, you play however you want to play the game. I mean, it's a free-to-play game, and it's a game that takes a lot of grinding. And that's one thing about here in the channel is I'm not gonna sit here and start, dissing people for who they're using. Even if you're repeatedly using, say, Terra. I mean, I pulled on Terra. Here I just wanted to try something different, but I mean, if anything, if I had very limited resources and had Terra, I would be using her, as much as possible. I want to be able to clear the content. I don't want to play based on how somebody else wants me to play or anything like that. But yeah, I would say that Terra, Yang, and then now that Core, I think, came out, I think he might be even better than Yang, is using, Terra and Core, and then bringing in like a Cloud of Darkness friend, or even if you can somehow put even Cloud of Darkness on that team, and then another Cloud of Darkness friend unit. I mean, you're gonna just, again, blast right through these guys. You're not gonna have any issues, whatsoever, I feel. The only thing that you're gonna probably encounter is if you would have tried to do something like that, where you have Terra, Cloud of Darkness, and Core. I mean, there's no way for you to tank, I think, these hits. So whenever you can use the team, go for it. More power to you. I just want to, again, I've been getting really lucky on pulls and have characters that I didn't really use as much as I wanted to. So for example, like Strago, I think I only used him for about one other event, and his kit is very simple, I guess, very basic, but I like his animations. I think he's a cool character to have, and for Sephiroth, obviously, he's my favorite character. If you didn't notice him from the intro song. But now that the friend unit is out, I am gonna burst here with Sephiroth, just to, again, continuously delete them. I don't want them to start getting turns. Once the recast gauge is up, then it is what it is, but it's still going to take a bit for the recast gauge and before I have to let them attack. And right now that they have all these debuffs on them, I think that this is probably the best place to probably burst with Sephiroth. And again, here, if I think I would have had Queen instead of Gladiolus, Sephiroth would be doing a lot more damage. Like, a lot more damage. And the difference between, say for example, Queen and Gladiolus would have been that Gladiolus only provides about 70% attack up, where Queen is providing about 110 attack up. So that's quite a bit of difference. And then as far as debuffs go, the only difference is that Gladiolus does put that 40% defense down on the enemies, which also helps. So now I'm wondering if Queen would actually allow Sephiroth to hit harder than Gladiolus. I would have to rerun it and try it out. But I guess Queen doesn't doesn't, I believe, do any debuffs to the enemies. I guess that's the only downside. I think if she would have a very slight defense debuff, then yeah, she would have. She's probably she would have probably made Sephiroth hit much harder. But other than that, they are weak to wind damage, which one thing I forgot to mention as well. So you could even bring in Bart's with the Funjin Call if I didn't mention that in the beginning, and doing that, everybody would hit much harder. I mean, the fact that they're already weak to wind, and you're hitting with wind, things like that. So I'm thinking that maybe even a well, I don't know if even Leia would have been good here. I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen a run with him, but you could have pushed out a lot of damage with him as well, and enchanting the party for wind. I think that could have been really big damage. I decided to not. I kind of wanted to use core here, but decided not to. Just to be able to again use. I haven't used Sephiroth as much as I've been wanting him to use, or as much as I wanted to use him. And the other character that I pulled for, that I was thinking about using here too, was Galuf. But I pulled for him, and I don't even know exactly all that his kit does. I just know that he's pretty much a tank, a damage mitigator. I think that with this cover effect, he takes all the damage, for each one of your teammates, things like that. So these guys, they're pretty much done after this attack here. There's really nothing else to worry about. So even then, I do have again Gladiolus's LD up, and with the LD, they're gonna still kind of, I think, bypass that LD. So I need to make sure that they don't have, this huge amount. They don't gain a huge amount of brave. So I think that if you end up getting broken, that's gonna cause you problems. So you have to do everything you can to not get broken. We'll mention about this is that the thing I thought was funny was the name of these guys was Strong Beast. I think whoever was naming the characters took the day off the day that they were trying to name these guys. I think that was pretty lazy from whoever was naming these guys. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. So you will notice there that after they do the recast and they're hitting you, you're gonna you would have needed some type of healer or whatever, but more than anything, I think a tank. I would consider Gladio the highlight of the show on this one. I think he's the main guy that makes the team work. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the fight, and hopefully you didn't have too much of a tough time. Good luck. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content. Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.